All right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. First off, if you can hear me, you can see me, everything looks good, throw something in chat. Let me know we're all good here. As you might have noticed, we are running the stream. I'm running the stream solo today, which means different system, different setup. I haven't done it in forever. I haven't done it by myself in forever. But welcome to another weekly live stream from us here at Wedding Film School, where we review your films that you submit to us. Cool. You guys are saying it is good. So happy to see that. As I mentioned, you might have noticed Jay is not here. Jared is not here. We have some very cool things in the works, some cool updates. You could check our Instagram for a little sneak peek of what they are up to and where they might be. Sorry, I guess my phone is on. But with that said, the show must go on. So we've got some good films for you today. And let me give you a little bit of a rundown of how we do this. So if you have not been here before, I'm going to watch your film. I'm going to watch it pretty much the entire way through without stopping for the most part. I might comment here and there over it. And then we're going to go through it. I'm going to tell you a few things that I think you did really well, some things I think you're excelling at, and then maybe one or two things where, hey, these are the big things on this wedding film that I think you could improve for your next wedding film. So really targeting, the idea behind this is that we want to be a space for this community to grow and learn together, and so really targeting those, hey, this is the most important thing. If I were you, this would have the biggest impact on my next film. But with that said, today, just me, but we are not, the authority. There are plenty of awesome filmmakers in this group, in our Facebook group, in our live chats that watch our videos, etc. So I definitely want to hear from you guys as well. Help me out in comments. That would be appreciated as we go through these with just, hey, here's my thoughts on it, or, whatever. Things you love, things you didn't love. I will cap it around 5 minutes. I'll do my best to do that for each film. So I think we do have one or two films that are longer than that, so I will cap it. Let's see. Anything else? What are you guys up to? Hit me in comments. I've got one wedding left to edit, I think, and some commercial work. So this is a non-lemon. This is just plain sparkling water. That's kind of been my go-to lately. I like it. But yeah, let me know how many weddings you have left, what you've been up to if you're not in wedding season. Yeah, chill winter for me. Sometimes I end up with maybe one in the winter. Occasionally I've had some, out in California or something that are over the winter. But the last couple of years, especially, with COVID and whatnot, but I don't know. I just I usually have my winters off. I'm usually doing some commercial work and stuff like that, but it's kind of nice. I kind of like it. Although this year, all my weddings were in the fall, basically, which was kind of crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, let's roll into it here. So, again, give me a little bit of leeway here because I'm running everything back end and talking and whatever. Dang, Grant, who are you associate shooting for? All right. While you answer that, I will go with my first film. I'll give you a little introduction here. This is from Pernell Knight. And he says, excuse me. I'm an 18-year-old cinematographer from Pennsylvania. So I did this film for free for my friend. This is my second of, I'm guessing this is supposed to be second of 2 wedding films I've edited, but I've shot a lot. Day was okay until the wedding coordinator, she was bad. Yeah, so Pernell, if you are in chat, let me know. That's always nice to have you here, but regardless, I will watch your film. And here we go. And I hope I won't make a mistake here.
Your protection is fierce and constantly warms me from the cold of fear. You are the guard that vigilance.
So give me a second, because I think I brought up the wrong one. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Wait, is it pronounced? It is. My bad. Going back.
Only keeps watch over my heart. Joy is the fragrance that is left wherever you go.
Not a thorn in my side. Sarah, you are a flower in my crown. I love you with all of my heart.
I've never met a couple that's so different yet so alike at the same time. I haven't been married for a very long time, but I do know that all the great marriages that I've seen, they all have one thing in common, and that's friendship. And Dan and Sarah have that in abundance.
Go ahead, turn around. Hey.
So to friendship, to finding your person, here's to the 2 best people that I know, Dan and Sarah. Cheers.
Marriage is more of a personal commitment than a legal contract. In Matthew it says, what God has joined together, let no man separate. Marriage is more a process and a journey than it is a single act. You have to choose each other every day.
I have been dreaming of this day from the moment I understood the concept of it. And now here I stand before you only to realize that my greatest imagination could not have thought of you. When I lean my ear to your chest, I feel the strength of God beating. His spirit drips from your lips like sweet honey, and your obedience inspires the gates of hell to turn and run. You are the blessing that I will sow into the ground to reap a harvest for generations to come. I vow to stand firm in the truth and to sharpen you with its blade. For faithful are the wounds of a friend, and I will be your greatest friend. At the end of it all, let this covenant prove that love as itself will never fail.
Dear Sarah, I believe time is one of God's most beautiful creations. And in these months, weeks, and days leading up to this moment, time has felt surreal. Sometimes time was our friend, and other times not so much. But now I'm here, and time really is standing still. They say you need to be certain for marriage. They say certainty comes with time, but I've always known for a long time that this is where I wanted to stand with you. My certainty has not come from time. It has not come from reason or logic. My certainty comes in the way you speak, in your laugh, your eyes, and your heart for Jesus. You are my constellation. You're the flower in my crown. I love you with all my heart.
Before Almighty God, in the name of the Father, His Son Jesus, and by the power of the Holy Spirit, I now pronounce you one together. You are husband and wife. Dan and Sarah, you may seal it with a kiss.
One, two.
I did know Sarah was the one very quickly. Sarah reached out to people and saying that she was going to be planning a party for Dan, and said, you know, we're all going to chip in and try and get Dan a Lego Star Wars Republic gunship. And she said, if you guys want to chip in, please do. If you don't, not a problem. I will cover everything. And I said, this girl gets it. She knows how to make Dan happy.
When Sarah asked my opinion of Dan after I met him for the first time, I definitely laughed. As I said, you are literally perfect for each other. But then, Sarah, you paused for a second and you said to me, I would go through all of the pain and heartache again if it would bring me to where I am with him now. The pain and heartache of the past just sort of disappears. Dan, thank you for being a man who looks to Jesus and points Sarah to him too. Thank you for loving Sarah deeply, also teaching her to have loads and loads of fun at the same time. Let's all raise our glass and say cheers to the waterfall of love and fun that is Dan and Sarah. Cheers.
All right, we were a little bit over 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. I could not get the play bar to come up. With that said, first of all, everybody in comments, feel free to share your opinions. I'll share some of mine. Man, this feels so weird. It's like just me. I have to do all the talking, all the opinions. That's a lot of pressure. Okay, so one thing that I thought I was kind of unclear, and, I don't think Pernell is in here, unfortunately, but hopefully he'll review this back. I know he's been in our other live chats and wanted his film reviewed, so sorry that it happened when you weren't here. He mentioned this is the second video that he's put together, but that he's filmed a lot. So I don't know. I mean, first of all, we don't know what that means. Has he filmed, 1,000 weddings and he's only edited 2 and he's super backlogged, or how does that work? But, all that being said, I think this is whether it's your second wedding ever, or, maybe you've shot a lot, but yeah, you haven't edited a lot, or maybe you were associate shooting and this is your second one by yourself, or whatever that kind of means. I think this is a really solid film. Like, the couple definitely is going to love this. It seems very them. It doesn't feel like a second film to me. There's some good shooting. There's definitely some understanding of light, of storytelling, of, sequencing things together in the edit, and you have audio and, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think that's like if there's any takeaway, it's that, hey, for a second film, we'll put it in quotes because I don't know exactly, I think it's a very solid film. So a few things I already mentioned. I think you have some good use of light here. Let's mute this, and I'm gonna. Oh, I didn't see this very beginning. Okay, so I would. Oh, that was who was saying that? Is that Kyle saying we need smaller font? Yeah, I don't like this font. I don't like this size, whatever. I didn't actually see that. I was like rummaging to get my notebook. But like this stuff, I think that looks nice. I mean, you're shooting in a house, right? So you only have like so much to work with. But like, I think you have some good. Where's some more prep? Not so much that one. I don't know. There was like some prep stuff. Obviously, some of the sunset stuff. Like, there's some nice use of light throughout this. I think you definitely understand that. I love the flat lays that you have of the details, stuff like that. And I also think you have some really good sunset stuff. We see that later in the film. I don't know if it's probably around here. There's some of it. I would be curious. I don't know what this was shot on. Pernell didn't let us know, unfortunately. But you had this great sunset, which is nice. I actually don't love that shot as much, but some of the other stuff. So yeah, I think, I kind of mentioned the others, like you have some good use of audio, you edit it together. I like that shot. Okay. So, but of course there are things to work on. So I mentioned, let's cover a couple of these right off the bat. I mentioned that font. Also, this, I would get rid of that. I don't like it. I don't think it, I think it, not that I don't like it. I think it downgrades the quality of your work. I think your work that you're doing is better than this animated logo. I think animated logos generally do not look good in a wedding film, generally feel like they cheapen your brand. Whether you're charging $500 or $5,000, my guess is, or $50,000, my guess is everybody in here wants to do, well, maybe not high-end weddings. Like, I don't really want to do a ton of super high-end weddings. They're very stressful for me. There are things I love about them, and I want to do some, but not only them. But I do want to get paid a lot of money for making weddings, right? That's what most of us want, and I think this will, like, it's a very small thing. There's so much more that goes into it, but this is like one of those just tiny little pieces where it's like, I would change this, get a different logo, don't make it animated, or use the logo, I don't know, maybe different font. That's kind of a whole branding discussion. But anyway, that's one thing. Okay, more things as far as the film itself goes. And I'm just going to start playing this. Okay. The very beginning, I felt like we're just thrown in. I think for the most part, your sequencing and like storytelling was pretty solid. I think it worked. You wove some, good speeches in, etc. But it started with like some vows kind of, and it was just like, whoa, did I start this video 30 seconds in or something like that? I think it can work sometimes. I've seen some films where it does work. I think this one, it felt too abrupt for me. And then the main thing that I want to talk about here, hold on, I'm about to sneeze. Apparently not. The main thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to just keep this playing in the background, is it is very clear to me that you are on a gimbal the entire day. And I would also argue that you are very likely on one camera, one lens all day. And I think that is hurting you as a filmmaker. My guess is you're on like a 24-70, which if you had to choose one lens, I would choose that one too. But I also think that it is limiting the shots that you are getting. And so, my solution to that for you would be, if you want to get a lot of shots on the 24-70, go for it. If that's what you're using, maybe I'm wrong. But switch it up, have a B cam with some primes on it, some fast primes, some longer lenses. Like, I think you're very close to them in the ceremony. I think you are probably distracting to the guests, which I wouldn't do. And it's not even from a film standpoint. Like, this isn't a bad shot, although I will talk about kind of the third part of this in a second. But, for example, if I am up in the couple's face, blocking guests for the entire ceremony, and moving around, mind you, on a gimbal, that might work for this wedding. It looks like it's at a farm, or maybe it's their property. It looks nice, but it looks maybe more laid back. A coordinator will not, like, that is a death sentence with a coordinator if they see that, in my opinion. If you guys are in chat and you feel differently, let me know. If you agree, let me know too. But if I were a coordinator, I saw a videographer up in their face, like blocking a bunch of the guests and like stuff like that, I just think you're never going to get a referral again from them. So that's all kind of like under the umbrella of being on one camera, one gimbal, seemingly the entire day. It also, of course, means you have a lot of medium shots. You do have some wides, you do have some tights. So you do it, I would say you do it better than other people I've seen, but it's still, every shot has movement in it. Which brings me to the third point of that, under that same umbrella of being on a gimbal all day. All your shots are moving. Almost all of them. And there's this concept of motivated movement versus unmotivated movement. And you have plenty of both, and one of them is good and one of them is bad, in my opinion. This shot, you're doing a kind of like a little half circle around them. That, I think you're in the way, so I don't really want to comment on that because I wouldn't do that. But let's just talk. Like this, you're pulling back. This, you've got that foreground in there, right? This, you're doing that little half circle. Not kind of, it's kind of like slider, half circle, whatever. All of that is motivated, right? It is intentional. I think it could be a little bit slower, but it is slow. It's intentional. There's motivation behind that shot. But then you have instances like here. Why are we moving during a toast? During the ceremony, here, if this is a long enough shot, you're moving to the left. And then you're coming back and you're moving to the right. That is the problem with always shooting on a gimbal, in my opinion, especially as a new filmmaker. You aren't experienced enough in the edit to know, oh, this is not going to look good. It's unmotivated movement. And so you aren't restricting yourself from doing that. And so you kind of are just like, oh, I could get this shot, and then I could go here, and then I can keep going back and forth. One of these is going to look good. But then when you have to sit on it for 10 seconds, and you're going this way, and you're going this way, and then like randomly you're like, ooh, maybe I'm too close, and you take a step back or whatever. Like that is something that stands out for me, and I think that could be your biggest thing. Don't be on a gimbal the whole day because it will just solve a lot of these problems inherently. If you want to be on a gimbal all day, I disagree with that being a good decision, but fine. But you need to be more intentional with some of these and solve some of these problems. Okay, I have not looked at chat in a long time because I was rambling. So I am going to go to my face. Hello. And then I am going to look through chat here. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I've got for you for now. But hopefully you found that helpful. If anybody has anything else to add, let me know. Yeah, it looked like there was maybe like maybe pro mist. I don't really know. I don't know. It definitely looked, a little glowy. Grant, cool to see you're shooting for. I know Kevin Sullivan. I met him filming a ninja comp thing. Also, oh no, Grant. Tolman Media, dude, aren't they the ones that are offering like photo and video for $1,100 and like all over the U.S.? And maybe I'm mistaking them. If so, apologies, but I'm pretty sure that's who they are. I would not support them. All right, keep going through. Yeah, the drone does look a little bit different, Kyle. Some of it too, I think, was like some of that drone was filmed like after, like at dusk or after dusk, which be careful if the legality of that even. But also, it's not as good of a camera. It's gonna be grainy, whatever. I wish I knew what this was shot on though. Yeah, couple definitely love the video. Ira, I agree. I mean, I don't know that, but yeah, Kyle is on with me as far as the logo or the animated thing. Little gimbally, agree. Yeah, I do want to, like, so Kyle said gimbal movements were tasteful, not overly done. I still think there's room for improvement on that. I think it could have been done better, but I think I said it, and I want to make sure I reiterate, like, as far as newer filmmakers on a gimbal goes, this is definitely a lot better than what we see, but I still think there's room for improvement. Oh no, somebody just typed and it moved everything. Yeah, gimbal to handheld. I have separate cameras for, like, I have a camera that just lives on my gimbal all day on one lens, but I only take 25 shots with it maybe all day. So I think it's, I'm sure you can switch back and forth. I know there are people who do it, but like, man, if you can make a dedicated gimbal camera, it's so much nicer to not have to be hot swapping stuff. Yeah, some people talking about being too close. Grant saying, I still find myself parallaxing the opposite direction at the wrong time sometimes when editing. I actually had like one or two shots in I don't know if it was the last film or maybe the last couple films. Maybe it was across a couple films where I was doing the same thing. I was like, man, I wish I didn't do that. So it takes practice. I don't know. Well, Grant, I hope they pay you. Like, what would that be? It would be like, what, 75% of what they're charging the couple? Tamron is 28 to 75. I haven't tried that lens, but I've heard really good things about the Tamrons. When I was on Blackmagic briefly, I was on a 24 to 70, the Sigma Art 24 to 70, and now it just sits in my bag because I don't have Blackmagic anymore, and it's a Canon mount, and I can adapt it, but I don't even bring it to a lot of weddings. But I kind of want to just like sell it and then get the 28 to 75 for the Sonys. All right, well, let's see. I will get the other one ready to go. So that was from Purnell. Gonna go ahead and close this. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow. I'm excited for this next one. It is, yeah, it's at the beginning. So I didn't really watch. I don't watch any of these. I think Jay sometimes does. I didn't though. I don't like doing that. So this is from Christian Velez, Cinemarvel Films, and I don't know if we've had a video from him on before. So this is a Sony A7S III, and the only info I have is that it was ceremony was filmed inside of an old plane, and I was like, that sounds cool. So we're gonna take a look at that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into that. And guys, let's see, 30 minutes in. I have a feeling that we are going to have time to add a fourth because you only get to hear from me today. And it's not me and Jay and Jared all sharing our opinions. So if you have a wedding film that you would like reviewed, I'm going to go ahead and just open it up now. Anything submitted since this live stream started. At the end of 3, we'll add a fourth one, and it will be from somebody who is submitting now and in the chat and whatnot. So I've got the comment pinned at the top of chat for a link to our live review site. So go ahead and start submitting, and we'll make sure we add in a fourth as well. But without further ado, here is this film.
Family and friends, we are gathered here on this beautiful day to witness the union of Lorante and Kiosha in holy matrimony.
That's cool.
This union is not to be entered lightly, but thoughtfully and seriously, and with deep realization of its obligations and responsibilities. Today is a day of great celebration for marriage life that is shared between the both of them. Always remember these words. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. And it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out.
Lorante, you're my best friend. I love you. I'm so glad that we decided to do this thing called life together. You're patient with me. Not always, but most of the time. You keep me grounded, and that's what I love most about you. You're my seatmate for life.
Hey. All right there, boo. Look at you. Okay. There you go, looking like something. Looking like Beyonce. You came on out there.
Oh my gosh.
She did something with your hair too. Why? Let me see. Hold on. Let's see how that booty looking. Look at that. All right, boo. Oh. I didn't want to mess your makeup up. Okay.
Like it?
Yes, I just hope that we keep continuing our relationship as we have in the past, open lines of communication, just being there for each other, and just living our best lives. I promise to do my best to love, cherish,
and accept you.
And accept you.
Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
I give my heart until the end of time.
I have no greater gift to give.
I have no greater gift to give.
Now upon your mutuals, promise made in the presence of God, these witnesses by the power vested in me in the city of New York and John F. Kennedy International Airport, I pronounce you seatmates for life. You may now kiss the bride. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Lorante Moore.
No, stop. Okay. All right. Oh shoot. Jeez Louise. All right, guys. Sorry. Here we go. And I will talk through it while it plays. Okay. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. I'm very curious how you got some of this intro footage. I hope that you did not fly, because I can't imagine that's legal. But you can probably get it somewhere. So, actually, I'm going to pause this. And I'm going to go to just me. Okay. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in chat. Things you loved about this film. Things you think they could work on. And I will share mine in the meantime. And then I will circle back through the comments. Things that I love. There's a lot I love about this film. First off, not something to do with you, but nevertheless, what a freaking awesome venue. Like, I don't know how one gets married there. I don't know if it's an official venue or they are tied to this place, because it sounds like it's at JFK in New York. But it's super unique. I love that. So now more things about you and less about the venue. I really liked your color for most of this. I am not a color expert. Jay would probably have more to say. I think there are a couple shots or it might be from a different camera where you can tell it's a different camera and it maybe doesn't sync up as well. But especially from what I'm assuming is your main camera, I just really, I don't know. I think like the grade just really worked. I also really love your scene setting. You have, first of all, you have some amazing static shot. Like, There are other filmmakers that we review in here that I don't want to mix anybody up, so I'm not going to say who it is because I might get it wrong. But like, there are people who I think we kind of know as having these like, you can tell a story. This is actually a great for kind of the last film that we watched from Purnell, right? You don't need to be moving in every shot, and a lot of times a well-exposed, well-framed, static shot can be more impactful than movement. And I think you have a lot, especially in the scene setting realm of things. This intro, here, I'll start playing stuff now. I mean, this has a little bit of movement and stuff, but when we get to the airport, there's just some great static shots, use of light, etc. So really, really good job on that, and kind of playing into really good use of scene setting. Really good job just like letting us know, where are we? What is this? And especially with such a unique venue, I think that plays an even bigger role in a film. And so I think it would have been, if you had not done such a good job, scene setting, I think that would have been a big mistake, but you did a great job of that. Also, just your shooting in general, a lot of these shots look very, very nice. The last thing that I think that you did really well, given now what we're seeing, given what you had mentioned, which is that they got married on a plane, there's no room for tripods, I would imagine that this was probably a difficult wedding to shoot. And so I think you came away with something very, very good, despite what I imagine being difficult circumstances. And I think that can be something that really separates... it probably separates all levels of wedding filmmaking, but especially from kind of the middle of the pack to, an upper tier, call whatever tiers you want. I don't really care, whether it's based on price or quality or whatever, but like being able to take a scenario that's tough and still create something that is great, and also still be able to create something that, I'm not familiar with your work, so I'm just assuming is on brand and in line with your style. And that's like a very much like, where you separate the something from the something. So very good job with that. With that said, a few things that I think could be done better. And these are smaller things. So first one that I want to mention, and this is, I'm always so hesitant because I don't like commenting on this because A, I'm not great at it always, and B, everybody is watching this, like we're watching it through YouTube. I'm now watching it direct, but usually I'm getting it through YouTube through a Zoom link from Jay, so this is a little bit better. But basically all that to say, like, there are variables at play here that maybe make it harder to comment on, but I think your audio was off. I think your mix was off. It was very loud to me, first of all. And then kind of within that, I think kind of where you have some dialogue, you have some music, some of that dialogue was getting drowned out. It wasn't like terrible. Like I said, this is kind of a smaller thing, but I think if you could tweak that a little bit and make it a little bit better. And then there was one shot during prep where you're like shooting up at the bride. I would just avoid that if I could, but very, very small. The biggest thing that I would say is that you transition, I'm assuming it's about halfway through, right? To this very upbeat rock song. Yet I don't really feel like your editing changes. And we go from this song that... Here, let's see if I can turn it on. Here you go. This. Right? It's this hard-hitting... And your shots are fun, but we came from this.
About injustice, but rejoices when...
This, like, epic cinematic strings, whatever type thing. Let's go back here. So, my problem with it is not the song choice necessarily. I don't think it was bad. I think they seem like a fun couple, whatever. It's that your editing style really didn't change. I feel like you're not really making use of that song, I guess is the best way to put it. It doesn't match that second song. That second song is driving and upbeat, and I would do faster cuts, and I maybe wouldn't even use it actually for this wedding. Now that we've seen the whole thing, like it's a very cool venue. It's beautiful, shot very well, but there wasn't much of like a party to it or anything like that. So you can get away with that. You don't need there to be this epic dance party, but then I think you need to get a little more creative with the editing, a little faster pace, something like that, to kind of match the energy of that song. That's my biggest critique, and even that, like, it didn't drive me nuts or anything. So overall, very, very good film. What I also want to know what this Twister Room is. Like, is that just part of the venue, or how does that work? I'm so curious about this venue, really. But yeah, anyway, let me go back. Whoa, lost my mouse. Let me look through these comments a little bit, and I'm going to get rid of this. Overall, really, really awesome film. Thank you so much for submitting, because, yeah, just very cool film. Very fun to watch. So let's go through here. I want to see what you guys actually had to say about that, because, yeah, definitely a unique place. Oh, funny, Grant. Yeah, I met him at a Ninja event. I think that was like when he was just starting or something. It's a few years ago. Yeah, Grant, with these static shots are gold. I would say that sums it up. Really good shooting, yes. Real nice, absolutely. Little long on the first look. I can see that. There was actually, I almost wrote it down. There was like, after the audio faded out of the first look, we went to a shot from the, I think, towards the bride's face, where it was like, I feel like we had kind of passed that moment already, so we could have just moved on. But yeah, super unique. Wedding location. Yeah, arrival board is cool. I think some of it must be stock footage in that film. I wish that they were in chat. It would be nice to know. Let's see. So, yeah, it could have been, I mean, they could have been tied to the brand or venue or something, but, well, people have money. If you have money, you can get what you want, usually. Kyle's over the Super 8 film overlays. Yeah, I don't know. I still like them sometimes, but I think they need to play a role, and they need to like distinguish footage. Like, I just use some for an intro of a wedding, but it's because I couldn't think of something better to do. So maybe that's not a good. Maybe that's actually a terrible reason. But I think they need to serve a purpose. I think is the big thing. I think when it's just like, this could look cool, which admittedly is basically what I did. I don't like it as much, but yeah, log softness. We've got a deleted message. I don't know what it says. I can't. Hey, Cinemarvel Films is in chat now. Awesome. Okay, so that must be the Twister Room you're referring to, and it's part of the lobby. Very cool. I don't know. Very unique. Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. Well, you guys can keep chatting while I get the next one queued up. Let's see here. Our next one is from Dylan Brown of Nights and Nostalgia. And Dylan says, filmed on 2 A7S IIIs, a couple GoPro and iPhone shots. I wonder if we'll be able to tell. First wedding, I'd used the Sony 24-70, so first wedding with that lens. This is a packed day, but I had a blast. Pretty much 13 to 14 straight hours with little to no break. As a couple had meticulously planned out several moments to occur throughout the day. No issues on the day. Guess what I'm looking to get critiqued is possibly the editing and the color. I know it's a long film. There's so much good content. And I didn't want to leave any out. So here it is an 11.5-minute film. I'm only going to review 5 minutes of it. Oh, cool. And Dylan is in chat. Awesome. That is a lot of hours. I agree. I hope that you were compensated accordingly. Without further ado, Dylan is in chat. So you guys can ask any questions because he can probably answer them. Here we go.
On June 1, 2021, Josh, you headed over to Matt's, wondering if you would meet the girl of your dreams or just the one girl that you dated during the pandemic. When Josh met Emily, he was captivated by her long blonde hair and her smile. That was the word that he used, captivated. And when Emily met Josh, she was intrigued, which is an interesting choice of words.
And so after we parted ways on June 3rd, I got in the car to drive to a friend's birthday weekend, followed by a bachelor party for this guy right here. And I created a new playlist of music to listen to, very meaningful to me, like an old mixtape or burnt CD. I named this playlist Life. And while there almost couldn't be a more generic name for something than life, it also felt like the most intentional, because for me, I was ready. I was ready to choose you and pursue you for life, and I could only pray to God that you would choose me back.
Oh, throwback wedding song. Can you even license this still? Am I about to get flagged?
Never was an early riser, used to be an up all nighter. Never saw the morning light quite like I do now. Never said no to a party, never started saving money. But everything is different since you've been around.
Lord God, I cried the day you gave me a son. I wept the day he moved to California. But today I have tears of joy.
It's the way you're smiling at me, it's in the way you hold my hand. It's the way I've watched you change me from a boy into a man. It's a million things about you, and I don't know what it is, but I have never known a love like this.
Go. I just want to look at all of your faces. I feel so loved. I feel so loved. I love you all.
Hi.
Oh, I love you.
Where's your audio coming here?
Beautiful.
It's the bride's mic, right? Or no,
Follow
dad's
your
mic.
heart.
Never used to get excited, to sit here in the silence, holding on to something the way I'm holding you. Didn't used to know how fast time walks and runs and flies by. Never thought I'd feel so deeply, but damn I do.
And then on December 11th, a very detailed proposal where there's a scavenger hunt where it ended with you on one knee asking Emily to be your wife, and then she paused and paused some more and paused some more to take it all in, and finally she said yes, and Josh responded, well, that's great to hear. Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Well, that is great to hear. I got it in.
I like you and I love you And I am willing and ready to do whatever it takes to continue choosing you in like and love every day for the rest of our days. My dear, sweet Joshua, you are God's goodness to me. I love you. Let's get married.
I would love to share something that's great for all of us to hear. It is my privilege and honor to introduce for the very first time Mr. and Mrs.
Bubbles.
Josh and Emily Holt.
I've been on the road, out here with the squad. Everybody trying to go, yeah, the party jumping off. Hey, we putting on a show, trying to catch a vibe. We do this every time, like na 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 na. Feeling like I'm on the highway, cause everything been going my way. And now they looking at me sideways. I'm like na 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 na. This is where I wanna be, na na na. Never ever gonna leave, na na na. You ain't gonna get it from me. I'm like na 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 na. This is where I wanna stay, na na na. I could do this every day, na na na. It don't matter what they say. I'm like na 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 na. Say hey, I've been on the wave. It's a
All right. Sorry, I'm stopping it. We usually go 5 minutes. We're at 6:20, so I'm going to give my thoughts. Granted, we did not watch the entire thing. Okay, right off the bat, I want to say two things. One, that's a great example of editing. You don't have to edit to a song, but like matching the edit with the energy. That second song, you ramped it up, you changed it up. I think you did a really good job. Granted, we've only seen maybe a minute of that. But I like that you were matching it. Second, one of the things I really like about this film, and I think this is a great example of, look, there's plenty that I wrote down that I think could be done better. But I think in an overall sense, this is not, and I don't mean this as a, what's the opposite of compliment? I don't know. Whatever. My brain, I can't think. I don't mean it as a negative, right? This is not some incredibly cinematic, polished film that's like perfectly shot or anything like that. Where that's all staged, right? And you brought everybody into this beautiful light. And whatever. I was trailing off of my thought there. But even with that, it just kind of works really well because it's very like real, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, I personally think the best place to be is a balance between the two. I do like instructing people a little bit without trying to stage them, so to speak. I do like showing people in their best form, in their best light, in the best light available, literally also, and things like that. But I do like that, like, I think a lot of times what would happen is we'd see something like this with these, in-camera zooms sometimes and this occasionally shaky camera and whatever, and say like, oh, well, this is not going to be very good. But it actually works pretty well. So that might be your style, or it might have just been for this couple or whatever, what have you. I don't know. But anyway, so more things. I think you had some really solid detail shots early on. In fact, you know what? Why don't we go here? I'm going to mute this, and we'll just let the rest of it play out while I'm talking. Yeah, I think you had some really good detail shots in the beginning. And I think one of the things is you did very good in coverage. You have a lot of shots of a lot of different events, or pieces of the day or whatever, and a lot of variety. So really good job there. I think those are the main things that I want to point out as far as the good stuff. The stuff that I think can be improved. right off the bat, and now I'm going to actually go back here. This, I mean, I don't even know if I would do this in the beginning. I'm generally not a fan of it. I'm certainly not a fan of it, like, in this font on black. Like, to me, man, this looks like Windows Movie Maker or, like, not even iMovie. You know what I mean? Like, this is, like, the most basic font, white on black, just hard cuts, all lowercase. Yeah, I would not do that personally. So that, okay, I'm gonna let this play. Another thing, I felt like your audio mix was also kind of all over the place. I mentioned in the last one that I don't, like, it's kind of hard to, I'm not going to dive in too deep because some of it is like YouTube and we're live streaming and I have headphones on. I also have a different level for the live stream and it's kind of all over the place. I felt like the handheld mic was very, very hot. And then the pastor's mic, which I think was coming off his whatever, or maybe you put a lav on him or whatever, was like a different level. But you had some very good, we'll call it ambient audio, but it wasn't ambient because you mic'd them up. I mean, it kind of is ambient, whatever, but like you had a mic on the groom, on the dad, on the bride, whatever. And so that was really mixed in very well. So I like that stuff. I just think kind of the levels could be figured out a little bit better. There was the detail shot I really liked. I want to also talk then about two more things. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that I think we as filmmakers, we leave a wedding, right, that we say, wow, this was such a great day. I had so much, I mean, you said it in your submission. Oh, I had so much good stuff. I didn't want to cut anything out. And I think that's ultimately a disservice to you. I think this video is too long, and I think there's a lot that I think could be taken out. And still keep the vibe and your style and whatever. And I get it. I think you said you sold them an 8 to 10 minute film, so you have to make an 8 to 10 minute film. Granted, this one is 11 and a half minutes. Also, granted, we only watched half of it. So with all those variables out there for everybody to understand, I still think that there's stuff that can be taken out and make a more streamlined film for both you and your branding and your advertising and for your couple. Not that it needs to be a 3-minute film or something like that. Like, granted, we watched 6 minutes of it and I was pretty intrigued the whole time, I would say, which is not always the case. But there are things that I think it's like, okay, you have a lot of the bride before she has her makeup on. I don't know about, like, that. That's always risky to me. And certain couples are going to care about that and certain couples won't. And then there's just, like, a lot of wedding party shots and stuff like that where it's like, I absolutely want them to be in there. I think your backpack's in that shot. And in that shot. And your camera's in that shot. So I'm going to add that to my list. Clean up the background of your shots. But yeah, I just, all that to say is I think you could cut it a little bit shorter. And then the last thing that I want to say, and this is really in this transition, I think it's here. So one, that shot's probably during the processional. You had that low shot on the groom during his vows. I didn't like that because I think you're probably pretty close, which I don't love recommending, or I don't recommend, or whatever. I think it was here. I can't quite tell exactly when I wrote this down, but you kind of transition from this, like, it's kind of your style, right? This, like, I don't want to call it shaky, but this, like, handheld feel, this, like, very, like, in the moment, I'm right here. Here you are as the viewer. You're also right here. But this transition to the ceremony, I think because of that, I can't quite pinpoint it, but it just felt very chaotic to me. Like, there's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But maybe the audio is part of it too. I'm not sure, which we aren't playing. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else that I wrote down. Oh, the one other thing that I would do in your edit that I think would be a little bit different would be when we go right, whatever that transition to the next song is, I think it's right here. You this is the culmination of the first song. The bubbles, the walking down the aisle, the first kiss, the kiss at the end of the aisle. That's all during the like. It's not actually really a fade out. It's kind of a like ramp up fade out, and I think it's you cross dissolving between the two songs. So I think you nailed the cross dissolve. It doesn't feel abrupt or anything like that. But I would be hitting that first beat on the second song, that first upbeat hit. That I would do at the first kiss, and then them coming down the aisle, bubbles flying, kiss at the end of the aisle, into this shot of them, and then the wedding party, and whatever else you do kind of onward. Like I would almost shift that transition up 10 seconds or something like that. Because I think you hit, hold on, let's actually watch it with audio.
For Mrs. Josh and Emily Holmes.
Like you're hitting on this like boom, like upbeat on like a shot of them, which is pretty and beautiful, but it doesn't have like all this like emotion tied to it. And so I would be hitting on. Also, did they kiss at the altar, or did they just kiss like halfway down the aisle? Which maybe threw you for a loop. But yeah. So those are my thoughts on that wedding film. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on that wedding film and anything that I said. Hopefully you found that helpful, and I'm going to go through comments now. Yeah, people liking the zoom in. Like this more than most films I see. The real emotion and reactions take the front seat. I agree. I think that's. I think that can be really hard to do too. People agreeing about the kind of the editing matching the energy of the music, which is great. Yeah, so Ira's saying that's my style. I assume he's referring to what I was talking about, like being more real, candid, whatever. Depending on what the couple wants, everything doesn't have to be super cinematic. That's what sells and what's in, but I appreciate those who stand out. Yeah, I think there's truth to that, but that is not an entirely true. Like, I don't think cinematic, like, there's overly dramatic and there's very stylized, and that might be in, kind of implying that it's trendy, and that does exist. But I don't think cinematic and polished is in as in it's trendy. That will always be, I think, the kind of gold standard, like good storytelling, very good, well thought out visuals. I mean, I've been shooting for 16 years for weddings. That has always been the gold standard, I would say. Anyway. Let's see. I like the transition a lot. It's time to the bubbles. Oh, kiss at the altar is at the very end. Well, I already moved on from it. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a thought. So yeah, okay, cool. So I will give you guys, I should have done this before, but I will give you one more warning. Go ahead and submit a film. I will give you 3 minutes to submit a film. We're going to choose one more off the list that has been submitted today. So yeah, go ahead and submit. It is at the top of the chat, I believe. It's pinned. I also will, I don't have it up anymore, but it's just on our website, www.weddingfilm.school. And you can go ahead and submit a film if you would like in the next 3 minutes. And then I will pick one more, probably pretty much at random, and review that for you guys here. And that film can be a longer film. We're only going to watch 5 minutes of it. It can be a highlight that is 5 minutes. It can be a teaser that is 1 minute. Whatever you've got, happy to review. So go ahead and do that while I take a sip of water. And while we do that, let's see. What is one wedding filmmaking trend that you want to see die and one wedding filmmaking, let's not call it a trend, but something that you would love to see come back that you haven't seen as much lately. So answer that question in chat and go ahead and submit a film, and I will get those up here. All right. Ooh, we got a film submitted by the Drakes, which I'm sure will be an epic film. Although I don't think they're in chat, so I kind of want to do this for somebody who is in chat, or at least that I don't know is not in chat. All right, you guys have one more minute. Up at the link at the top of chat, it's posted or pinned or whatever. And then also, if for some reason you can't see that, it is at the website, www.weddingfilm.school. And then you go to like live review. Trend that needs to die is the overly aggressive flower men in weddings. Oh man, I just had my first one. So, look, to be fair, I loved it, but that's because it was the first wedding that, like, I'd seen him, but it was the first wedding I was at, and I was just like, this is great. It also fit the couple so well. Also, like, when they told me like a month out, I think when I had a meeting with them or something. They're like, yeah, we have a flower man. And I was like, all right, but like, is this guy going to like body that role? Like, is he going to lean into it? Or is he just going to like, you know, be whatever? And they're like, no, he's going to lean into it. And he did. And he did a great job. So that was very fun. But I could see especially like, yeah, those things that are very much like on trend. It's like, it was great when the first few people did it. And then it like made the rounds and went viral. And now like everybody wants to do it because of that and whatever. So I could definitely... I feel you on that. Doc edit should die. What do you mean by doc edits? Are you talking like a highlight film that's 20 minutes long, like highlight film 20 minutes long? Or are you talking like for me, doc edits is the ceremony edit and it's a speeches and dances edit. It's not super creative. It's just a doc edit. But I feel like you maybe our terms are maybe a little bit different. Aaron Miller, your teaser submission did make it. It is in there. First looks down the aisle as far as bringing it back. Man, I'm so mixed on this because here's the thing. A first look down the aisle means I almost guarantee that your schedule for the day is going to suck. Like, it's going to be crammed. The opportunity to miss stuff is there, but it can be so good and emotional. But sometimes the first look down the aisle is because the groom doesn't want to do a first look and they're just not going to be emotional anyway. And then I feel like it's wasted. Like, I would have rather had the better schedule and the first look, like, time with just them also at that point in the day. I don't know, but a good first look down the aisle is great. Although it is also like, man, it's stressful to get that shot. Yeah. Pros and cons. Including a shot of the dress hanging in front of the window needs to die. Yeah, I like shots of the dress. But I do hate hanging them in front of a window. In fact, at my very last wedding of the year, we shot BTS. So you guys will have we have, I think, 2 full behind the scenes videos coming out. We had one that came out maybe 3 weeks ago that you guys should go check out on the channel if you haven't. It's like 45 minutes long. You are with us start to end on a wedding day. We're kind of showing you everything, etc., etc. But I filmed one that is still in the process of being edited, and you will hear me whine about how the only place to hang this freaking dress was in front of a window, and I don't like the shot, and wham for me, but still. Cool. Okay, I am going to... Okay, I am going to go ahead and use a random number generator. So this will go from... Let's see, what number are we on? 413. Okay. Give me 1 second while I get this going. And then Aaron, I will... Oh, you're actually in there. Yeah, so you're within this. Oh no, I scrolled too fast. All right, give me 1 second while I do this. All right, so that is going to... I can't scroll up. Oh, here we go. I gotta click. It is going to Aaron Miller. So we are gonna watch a teaser. So Aaron says, Eugene, if you're watching this later, you should submit that film for next week, or maybe we'll just review it because I'm sure it'll be awesome. Destination wedding in Santa Fe. Felt really good about the day. Whoop. Great location, and the weather was awesome. Snowed the day before when we filmed them getting tattoos. Oh, sweet. Which was really cool to get a little bit out of that. 2 Fujifilm X-H2S's and an X-T4 on a gimbal. They didn't want to record vows or letters, but they had so much good audio from the day, I'm not worried about making the full film. Okay, so this is going to be a teaser, so I imagine it's going to be like a minute or whatever. Hold on. I need to bring it over to the right spot. All right, while we do that. All right. Guys, so we are going to review this one. But if you can submit again for next week. Occasionally we will pull back from the list, but we usually have enough submissions each week that we just pull from whatever submitted each week. So starting now, you can go ahead and submit for next week. If you want priority in getting your films reviewed, consider becoming a member of the channel. It costs $5 a month. You can opt out anytime, but that gets you kind of front of the line priority. We always prioritize our members. And more than anything, it helps us continue to give you guys free content. Not only the wedding film reviews that we do every single week, but also our behind the scenes videos that I mentioned, gear reviews, tutorials, editing tutorials. We have our podcast as well, which if you have not listened to, I highly recommend. There are people in the chat here that will vouch for us. I don't know. I've heard we're the best wedding filmmaking podcast. I don't know. Not my words, other people's words. But in that podcast, we were able to dive very, very deep into kind of bigger topics that, like, YouTube is made, behind the scenes is great, live reviews great, but really YouTube is made for, here's my top 5 gimbal moves or whatever, which, great. We have a video like that. There's nothing wrong with it. But the podcast lets us dive deeper into business topics, deeper into the theoretical behind shooting, behind editing, storytelling, stuff like that. So definitely recommend that you follow us over there as well, which is on our sister channel, The Wedding Film School Show, which is also the name of the podcast. And you can also find us on all your audio streaming, podcast stuff like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and whatnot. Without further ado, though, let's dive into this wedding film from Aaron Miller, where the bride and groom get tattoos. Cool. Okay, right off the bat, I'm just going to say 2 things. 1, I really like this still frame. I think it's really cool. I don't know anything about this yet. And 2, I'm actually a little bit... So this is a minute 38, which I have no problem. We'll review the whole thing. That's not my issue. But that seems long for a teaser. If I were doing a teaser, I would be making it under a minute, and that would so that it could fit all social platforms. I guess, now that I'm saying it, though, Instagram, you can post longer videos. Man, I'm not up to date on Instagram. I feel like it always changes and makes me very mad. TikTok, can you do longer than a minute? I don't know. Maybe that's not important to you. Anyway, all that to say, let's dive in. That was my initial thought.
We knew we wanted something small, and I couldn't think of anything. And
That's a
my
logo I
TikTok
like.
is all the
Oh, she
algorithm
mentions
is
TikTok.
weddings, and this just popped up, and I was like,
She mentions TikTok specifically. It could be great for you if she wanted to share this on TikTok. So I would make sure that, that this could go on TikTok. And it very well might be able to. I have no idea. I just don't know.
oh, I kind of like this
What a
idea.
cool, like-
Something small, and it's a cute meaning.
We're getting married tomorrow.
I know.
24
For
hours.
better, for worse, for life.
1, 2.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. That feels very We the Drakes, Eugene Drake. That's kind of their. They do stuff like that. I feel like. Guys, hold everything. I'm getting a call from India right now. Probably can't really see that. Any of you calling me from India right now? Sorry.
Damn. Oh, you want a little boogie?
Dance? A little
You want a little boogie? This is my wife, Bella Cunningham. I want to take a selfie with the mountains.
Can we?
Love it. I gotta send it to all my buddies.
Sweet. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna hit replay. I'm gonna pause it. Cool. I'll let it play in the background. Okay. So first off, I really like. I mean, get back here. I like your logo. Just like standalone. But I also like the way that's incorporated here. I think this, guys, if you want to do I mean, there's plenty of people who do a logo very well. I do a logo at the end. I don't even love my logo that much. Some people do it at the beginning. Some people do it at the end. Some people do it on teasers and not highlights, and highlights not teasers. Whatever. Everybody does it differently. But this one, I think, works. I like it. Okay. I think the tattoo concept is really cool. I don't know if that's the actual tattoo noise. Sorry, I'm playing this. I forgot. That we're seeing or hearing. Sorry. If it is, I would turn it down a little bit. It was kind of hard to hear her. I think this is like a unique little intro, and I like the shot that. I think that like ties it together. So I like that. I like your font. It's very like stand out in your face, and I think it works for this couple. This is a teaser, so there's a lot that is hard to like. There's only so much thought or so much that I can critique. I don't know. Like, I would love to see the full wedding film. You should definitely submit that when it's done or whatever. But I think you captured this couple really well. So I think that's one thing that you really have going for you. And I don't know if like this is just the type of couple you attract, or like you kind of cater to the couple and this is kind of how they were. But I think you did a great job with that. Things that I would change though. Okay, I feel like a lot like do we have details on what you shot on? Oh yeah, the XH2S and XT4. So okay, I kind of almost thought that you shot this on one camera, and maybe it was just, hey, you have enough footage for an 8-minute film, whatever, and you only selected obviously this much because it's only a 2-minute, minute and a half edit, whatever. I felt like, yeah, part of me was almost like, hey, is this all? Oh gosh, this is starting playing something else. Is this all like from one camera? Like kind of what I was talking about earlier in the stream, where it's like, are you on a gimbal all day? Not that you were on a gimbal specifically, but like it all just felt like a bunch of medium shots kind of. Maybe I'm wrong. I should maybe rewatch it, but yeah. So that would be one thing, is kind of maybe some more variety. And then shoot, what else was I gonna say? Oh, I guess I would kind of revisit, and this might even be a good topic for the podcast, but like, what is the purpose of a teaser film? Like, I'm sure there was more to the day that we aren't seeing, right? Because you're going to go make a 4-minute or 8-minute or 15-minute highlight, and I know you have lots of good content. I'm sure there was more, but like, what about that makes me want to watch the highlight film? And I think that is, I mean, it's really not a discussion for this. Like, I almost feel like you gave too much in that. And part of that is it being a minute 30 or a minute 40 or whatever it was. And, you know, a good chunk of that was kind of the intro with the tattoos. But I think that's also, and this is me just like off the cuff random thoughts. I think that's also a reason, on top of being available for every social media platform, of sticking under a minute, of like, you don't want to give away too much in a teaser. Not in like I'm like giving to your couple, whatever. But to the viewer, where it's like, if they've seen this, will they still be motivated to watch the highlight film? And I think this teaser kind of covered the whole day, which is not inherently bad, right? Like, oh man, I don't know. If you guys agree with me in chat, I'd love to have you kind of like help me try to like flesh out this idea a little bit, where it's like, yeah, like if I saw every part of the day very briefly, but like you let some of those play out, like we have kind of the whole tattoo story. Like I almost would have taken that tattoo story, covered that with B-roll of the day, and then the last shot, and maybe that's just the teaser or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, like I'm just like, I saw the first look with the dad. I think I saw the first look with the groom, but now I don't remember. Let's see. Can I go back? I want to play it in the background again. There we go. Like I saw, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't quite explain it. Now I'm watching it while I talk. But yeah, I think like giving thought into, like, you captured them so well, and I like, look, they love this. I guarantee it. And I'm sure they're gonna love their film because it was shot well, it was captured well. You have good audio in this, and it sounds like you have even better audio, or not maybe better, but like even more good audio, right? But yeah, I just feel like I don't know, like this was not so much a teaser, it was just like a mini highlight. Like we touched too much almost of the day. Like we got the full reaction with the dad. Do we have the reaction with the groom? Oh, I think we do. I think that was him seeing her down the aisle. And he had a great reaction, like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's like, what's left? What key parts are left for a highlight film? Not that the highlight film won't be good, but like, I don't know. I always think the teaser film should make you want to watch a highlight film. It should get you amped for the highlight film. And so like, that's kind of a blurry line. Yeah, that's all my random thoughts. So, I'm going to hop into chat and read through some of that here. I gotta go backtrack a little bit. Thank you for the kind words on the podcast. Yes, so many people saying best podcast ever. We actually talk about filming weddings when others talk about selling weddings. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think, look, we talk about selling weddings too. That's important. What we don't talk about is selling you our course or some shit like that. But, you know, people got to make money. I'm sure we'll do a course eventually too. But we are very big on giving you free content consistently as often as we can. But yeah, I mean, look, you're right. we think it is very important for those who are educating to be also filming weddings, right? All of us film weddings. We run very different brands between myself, Jay, and Jared, but between us, and granted, if we went percentages, I'd be a very small percentage of this, but between us, we probably shoot 300-ish weddings a year. I probably shoot, I kind of hard cap at 15. Certain years I'll do up to like 20 maybe. They have a volume brand with multiple teams, so they have a brand like me as well, a high-end brand, but like, look, we want to be in the thick of it, and that's why sometimes we're a little slow to get content out. During peak season, you'll see our uploads drop a little bit, but we still get stuff out for you guys. That's important to us. And yeah, we want to make sure that we're filming and talking about filming weddings and not just selling weddings, although selling weddings is important as well. Running a business is important as well, and we have stuff on that as well. Loving the business episodes. Thank you. How to film weddings should literally be called How to Sell Weddings. No comment. Although my only comment will be, yes, filming weddings is of course very, very important, but so is selling weddings. You can't be a business if you aren't running a business well. But yes, I think beyond that, I will not comment. We've had John and Nick on the podcast in the past and had good conversations with them. Easily the best podcast. Very, very thank you very much. TikTok can do 9 minutes. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that just shows that I am out of touch. Editor's calling you. Did Aaron sing this song that he's editing to? Sounds like no. Love it. Love the Drakes. Yes, they are awesome. Eugene and his wife are amazing. I met them a long time ago at Vision Quest, which I highly recommend, and have kept in touch and seen him at other points as well. So yeah, maybe we'll watch his edit on the next one. Kyle saying he digs this edit, not like a traditional teaser that we're used to seeing. Yeah, I think that's what's tough is like I also don't want to I don't want to discourage going out of the box. I think that's important. It's just like, man, it's like that blurry line of like, is this too much being shown? Does it still fit a teaser? I don't know. Not that either of those are wrong or bad. Yeah, saying kind of it's like its own complete thing, a short highlight. Oh no, Grant's having Final Cut exporting issues. Man, I will tell you what, I have had so many issues since upgrading to my M1 MacBook. Seems to be an Apple problem. They will not acknowledge it. I literally spent, I wish I had it. It was either like 11 and a half or 13 and a half hours online over like 4 days with a tech person. And kind of the answers they gave me were BS, if you ask me, which was very frustrating. I have since been able to export so far, but I am getting the running out of memory issue popping up every single time, but it is successfully exporting eventually. So I don't know. They got to figure their shit out, man. Kyle saying message me, so you should also message me your solution. Yeah, I will let you guys talk amongst yourselves. AB Rich saying, so excited to see your BTS, which will also feature AB Rich Films. He was my second shooter that day. So happy to have him. Made the day. It was a very stressful day, as you'll see in the BTS. Whenever it comes out, I don't know when that will be. It was a crazy day. Crazy day. Great day for BTS if you want to see me running around frantically. With that, guys, it is 1:30. Not that that's a hard cutoff or anything like that, but I feel like we've reviewed 4 films. That's kind of what we set it at. Thank you guys so much for joining. A few things before you leave. 1, hit the like button for us if you can. I forgot to say it. We only have 3 likes. We've had like up to 50 people in here at a time, I believe. My bad. But please hit the like button on your way out. 2, consider becoming a member. It starts at just $4.99 a month. It gets you priority access in getting your films reviewed. It gets you into a private group for members only, Wedding Film School members, and some more stuff. You can check it out. Just hit the little join button next to subscribe. Hitting join does not automatically sign you up. It just lets you see the options. So, and there are different tier levels for that. You can also do the top tier where you get a private review every month. Additionally, we will be back next week. I'm sure that I will be here. I believe Jay and or Jared will be here as well. So we're kind of back in the full swing of it next week. Sorry if this was a little bit relaxed of an episode. When we only have one person, it is a little bit chaotic, and we are running everything ourselves. But even so, we looked at some great films. We had some great chat in the chat, some great banter. Thank you so much for joining this week, and I will see you next week, Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go get your films submitted right now in the link at the top of chat, and we will see you next week.